Well, let's be honest, that wasn't great. Outside of a man of the match, outstanding performance from Amad Diallo, I don't think there's a single other player that realistically you can say had a great game tonight. I think that was a bang average performance, and that's the disappointment. It is so much work that Ruben Amorim has got to do when he comes in after the weekend, because this group of players just aren't at it. It would be so nice to get to an end of a match where I could sit here and say everyone's had a really good game. And unfortunately, again tonight, I can't sit here and say that. Bruno was poor. Højlund was poor. Even Garnacho, I think, was poor tonight. Casemiro wasn't as good as he was at the weekend. Ugarte got himself booked again. I didn't understand why Dalot was back to left back and Mazraoui was back to right back. Dalot is so much better on the right than he is on the left, and Mazraoui was much more solid on the left than what Dalot was. And I just don't like this whole Dalot drifts into midfield from left back situation. And clearly Ruud didn't like it either, because he subbed Dalot off for Martinez in the second half. And even Onana, who had to pull off a really, really important save to keep the match at 1-0, his long passing, it was just too often. The amount of times he would get the ball and just try and play these wonder passes. Like, we always moan about Bruno dropping in too deep and looking for these long balls out to Garnacho and Rashford. Well, tonight the ball was going back to Onana, and he was playing these long balls out to Amad and Garnacho. It just... If you're going to play the long ball, just play it up to Højlund. Højlund could barely get himself in the game tonight. And I just think at times in those sort of situations, we could have played it into him so we could get a bit more of a feel of his defender. He never really got the opportunity to get a hold of Colley. And then every time he did get the ball, Colley then got the ball from him. It just... Another performance which just really leaves a lot to be desired. But... okay, we've come away with 3 points. It's our first win in Europe for over a year. We've finally broken the curse of going ahead and throwing away a lead in Europe. And it was down to Amad. There is no other way to describe it. That game tonight has been won by Amad Diallo with 2 absolutely brilliant goals. The first of which, I don't even know how he's managed to pull it off. It's a brilliant ball to the back post from Bruno. I don't know how much of the header is meant as in he's trying to score or whether he's trying to feed it back into the middle towards Højlund. But it's a great leap, because I think Bruno has slightly overhit it. But it's a great leap. He's got it over the goalkeeper to the back post. There are some question marks about whether or not Højlund has fouled the defender on his way through. I don't think it was, but obviously I'm going to say that I'm a Man United fan. But I think it was fair enough. It was a really good header from Amad. And then the second goal is just everything we have been asking for from Manchester United's front line pretty much all season long. He pressed, he harried, he didn't give up, he was aggressive against the left back in Baba Rahman, who is a much bigger player than him, but he got round him, he jabbed himself in there, he won it back. He was then fouled by Baba Rahman, and unlike every single other player we seem to have at the moment, and more on them shortly in from this match, he stayed on his feet, he drove at the box, he got his shot away. Okay, the shot was going straight at the goalkeeper until it deflected in, but it did deflect in and he earned his luck. And the reason I put emphasis on the fact that he didn't go down is that when Amad went out on loan to Sunderland, he built this reputation as someone that goes down all the time. But he didn't in this instance. He stayed on his feet, he was physical, he got himself carried on, whipped it in, it's taken the deflection, and he's got us the 2 goals that have put us ahead. As for the others, it's another complaint that I keep having. There are too many instances where we're looking for free kicks and penalties. And I don't think any of the penalty incidents tonight were penalties. The Amad one was just unlucky. It's a sort of coming together. It's a bit clumsy from the defender, but I think he does just about enough to feed Amad out the way. I think the Garnacho one is one we've seen an awful lot in the Premier League actually over the last couple of seasons. There was the Calvin Phillips, Anthony Gordon incident. There was the Calvert-Lewin, Dan Burn incident. And then, was it Tarkowski last week? I know it's another Everton player, but there was another one this week as well where basically the defender has got themselves in front of the forward as they've tried to take their shot, and then the forwards caught the defender. Exact same incident here. I was absolutely adamant when I saw it in live action that it was a penalty to Manchester United. But on the replay, you see the defender gets in front of Garnacho. Garnacho kicks his heel, goes down, never a penalty. And the Casemiro one is just embarrassing. The Casemiro one is absolutely embarrassing. This is what I go on about in terms of players just falling over. Casemiro was twice the size of Johnny Otto, Bruno plays a brilliant pass into him. All he's got to do is take the touch and finish it. He takes the touch, he feels the contact from Johnny, and he just goes, Come on, man. Look at the size of you. Look at everything you've achieved in your career, and you're getting knocked over by Johnny Otto when you're through on net. Sort it out, man. It just, to me, summed up everyone else's performances. It was so casual. There was almost too much structure, which sounds a bit daft to say when everyone keeps moaning about Manchester United's lack of structure. It was like Van Nistelrooy had said, right, we're going to play this way, and everyone's going to be in your positions, and it just became too static. Everyone was in their position, but it just meant we were just sort of half-heartedly passing it around, and we couldn't really get Garnacho and Ahmad into the game enough to be more influential in the wide areas, which inevitably meant that then Højlund again couldn't get the ball, which meant then Højlund did get the ball, he wasn't sharp, and we couldn't create anything from those positions. It's a miserable sight to see, because I'm not being funny. We should have beat PAOK easy tonight. I did 4-1 in my predictions because I genuinely believe we should be beating PAOK by a significant scoreline. They are a collection of players that are absolute has-beens from around European football, to the extent that they're basically the players that the Turkish league clubs wouldn't even take because they don't rate them. Like, you go to the Turkish, look at the Fenerbahce squad, the Galatasaray squad. They've got a collection of players that were sort of has-beens, as it were, in European football. Then you've got these players at PAOK that are like the has-beens of the has-beens. We should be beating them easily. And you've got to look at Chelsea winning. Is it 8-0? It was 8-0 the last time I looked. Is it still 8-0 now? It's finished 8-0 to Chelsea against Noah. Now, I'm not saying PAOK are as bad as Noah, but Chelsea have put 8 in the net tonight because they're ruthless. They have a system. They have organisation. Again, we lacked that tonight. And if it wasn't for 2 bits of brilliance from Ahmad, we wouldn't have scored. And again, at 1-0, an absolute switch off in defence. They get round Dalot far too easily. They get through our midfield far too easily because Casemiro dives in again. It's one ball from Tyson into the box. It's split our defence in half. And a better striker scores that. Onana gets lucky. He takes a gamble. It's a good gamble. He gets down and makes the save. But a clinical striker. If that chance falls to Jamie Vardy on Sunday, it's in the back of the net. No doubt about it. Like, genuinely no doubt about it. I would say Leicester are a better side than PAOK. I really would. We play that against Leicester, we're going to struggle. And again, this is the concern. We're still, even with Van Nistelrooy taking over, we're not showing any sign of progress. We're not showing any sign of consistency. And again, it's a player that's not normally in the starting lineup that's got us the win tonight. Hopefully, that injury he picked up with 5 minutes to go isn't going to keep him out of the game on Sunday. And just one final point, actually, on that incident. When the physio comes on, he's fiddling around with Ahmad's ankle. He says to Ahmad, "What do you want me to do? Do you want to come off?" You're the goddamn medical staff. You make that decision. Is it any wonder that everyone keeps getting bloody injured if the actual medical doctor on the pitch comes on and says to the player, "What do you want to do?" Make the decision yourself. I mean, for crying out loud, it's a good thing we've not got the Black Knight in the squad. He'd play every minute of every game with no arms and no legs. Like, what? Oh, that to me actually got to me tonight. The physio actually coming on and going, "Are you okay? What do you want me to do? Do you want to come off?" Make the decision yourself. It just underlines how poor our staff are at the moment. But I won't say any more. Hopefully Ahmad is available for the game at the weekend, which hopefully we should get another win to see off Van Nistelrooy. But we need to get Amarin in now. We need some form of structure. We need to build some confidence. We need to build some consistency, because this group of players cannot, as a starting 11, put together a performance where everyone plays well. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. I will be back tomorrow morning with the next round of Premier League predictions. I'll see you there.